Thank you very much, Greg, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ofer, and I'm one of the founders of Ghotit. I'll divide this session into three parts. The first part will be a short PowerPoint presentation, which will basically explain the technology that we are using, the technology that developed. Following that, I'll do a short presentation of how Windows system, and then I'll move over to the iPad. So I'll start by sharing my screen, and I hope it will work. It will share application, share screen. Now share, and hopefully it will work. Can you see my screen?
Just coming through, I think, now.
Okay,
yeah, that's it now. Yeah.
So wait a second. Okay, great. So as I said, my name is Ofer, and I'm one of the founders of Ghotit. And Ghotit was founded in 2007 by myself and by Dr. Robert Yakovashvili. And the reason really why Ghotit was founded is very simple. I'm dyslexic and dysgraphic, and I was unable to find any solution that met my needs. So we decided to develop one. And our mission statement is basically very simple. What we want to do is to allow people with dyslexia and dysgraphia to work freely, to read freely, to write freely, and that's basically our mission statement. What we develop is a technology which we call context-based writing analysis, or in other words, is the ability of a computer to understand what a human being wrote. And if you are able to do that, you could do wonderful things like correct spelling, correct grammar, punctuation, prediction, etc., etc. There are many things you could do with this technology. And what we focus on is basically trying to understand spelling and grammar of people with learning disability, especially people with dysgraphia. Now, when I'm saying that we are trying to allow the computer to understand what a human being wrote, what basically I mean by that is that we are looking over the internet or looked and created some sort of a database which basically contains the entire phrases that you can find people write. For example, if you'll take under parentheses and you do a Google search, under parentheses, it means that you want the exact quotation to have, and one time you use meet you at 8 p.m. and use meet as beef, and the other time meet you at 8 p.m. and this time was meet as meeting, you'll find out that only one person around the world wrote meet as a beef, and 44,000 wrote the word meet as a meeting. Therefore, if you have a student or you have if you have somebody that wrote this type of a sentence, and he is one of the first people around the world that wrote this, most probably is wrong, and you need to look and try to find out what is the correct. In other words, what we are trying to create is some sort of a personal assistant, and if I'll try to describe it, you told Robert what I want something like my mother that used to sit behind me and basically would look what I wrote and then ask, did you mean to write this? Did you mean to write that? And she was able to correct it. And we took this technology and we created two types of a correction of a spelling and grammar. The first thing is what I called post-writing correction. Basically, the user writes the complete sentence, and then he does some sort of a writing correction, press a button, and the system just indicates what word was incorrect. The benefit for that is basically that you have a context around the word from your left and for your right. Therefore, there is a very high probability that you'll be able to find the word you're looking for. So this is the first way. The second way is what we all know as word prediction. The problem with word prediction is that you have only the context to your left, and you don't have the context to your right. Therefore, what we recommend is the users that are using word prediction and are not able to find the word that they are looking for, to continue writing, and at the end of the process do what we call post-writing corrections, and most probably you'll find the word you're looking for. Maybe you have some punctuation correction, grammar correction, etc. This is the type of text that we basically are correcting. And this is taken out from different users that send us some text. We are using the same regular scheme, where blue are words that are misused or words that are spelled correctly but in the wrong context. Red are words that are misspelled, words that are underlined, or words that you need to merge. Green words are words that you have some sort of grammatical or punctuational errors, and you could start correcting it. Our grammar correction is basically basically depends on the English dictionary that you choose. If you choose UK dictionary, it will work according to the UK rules, US according to US, Australia according to Australia, etc., etc. And actually, we have quite a couple of students that are using our system instead of Grammarly because we are DSA approved, and they decided to use us. There are cases like that. So you can find the entire base of our rules on our website, so I will not go over the entire list, but it's a very long list. The same goes with the punctuation correction. It goes according to the dictionary that you choose, and those are the rules, and you could find out the rules that we have on the website. Another thing that we have, and this is a thing that is brand new, is what we call rewording. Rewording is one of the problems that you have as a dyslexic or dysgraphic. You tend to use the same word again and again and again and again. It's not that you don't know how to use a different word, but you are using the word that you feel comfortable using, but it doesn't look nice. It doesn't sound nice. Therefore, for example, over here, I wrote in the same sentence 3 times problems, and you could change it. And the system will look and try to change it accordingly. This is an example of what our word prediction. Our word prediction is very unique. We ran this example during a session we did to DSA assessors, and we asked them what is the meaning of the word ants and the word bone. We gave them a few options of the leading word prediction. For this option, 95% of the users agreed with us that it's supposed to be understand. And for this born punctuation, it was something like 85% that agreed with us. Now, we hear many, many times from different users that people with dyslexia and dysgraphia write phonetic. Well, first of all, it's right. They tend to write phonetic, but there is a small problem. My phonetic is completely different than your phonetic, and your phonetic is completely different than American phonetic, etc., etc. In addition to that, they tend to have some sort of random errors inside their spelling. So you need to cope with the phonetic that you have many types of rules of phonetics and with the random errors. Okay, so for iPads, what we did, we created 2 solutions. The first solution is a very simple to use text editor, which is called Ghotit Real Writer Reader, and has the functionality of any editor. You could save documents, you could check it out, etc. The second solution that we created is a very, very powerful keyboard, which I'll present shortly. But before I present that, I would like to show you the Windows version, and I'll show you an example. This is an example how we correct the word, the post-writing correction. Basically, the only thing you need to do is to press to mark the text you want to correct, press the ABC button. Can you see what I'm presenting right now?
Yes, we can see it, Ofer. Nice and clear.
Okay. So what happens if you send it? It was sent to a Ghotit correction area, and then you could find correction. For example, over here, it was supposed to be schedule. As you can see, it's written really far, far from their intended word. Every word has the ability to write it out. Communication, if in the apostrophe, teams, misuse word.
Lately.
Okay, you didn't correct it correctly, but I'll correct it next iteration. Carefully.
Carefully.
Missing a dot, etc. So this is the way you corrected with the Ghotit for Windows. Professor once again a correction, and it shows me that the word lately is supposed to be lately. As you notice in the beginning, I presented that there was a problem when you have the text is weak. What do you mean by weak? You don't have a lot of context around it. Therefore, it didn't give me the correct answer in the beginning. Therefore, what we recommend is for people that to do a second iteration, and the second iteration most probably to find additional errors that they didn't find in the first iteration. Am I clear about what I meant by that? Because I have a feeling that it was a bit fuzzy.
So essentially what you're doing is that you're sort of proofreading it once, then you're proofreading it a second time.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why I'm doing it is the second time the context is much stronger. If the context is much stronger, you'll find out errors that you didn't find in the first iteration. Please keep in mind we are working on context. When the context is strong, you'll get better results. And that's it. I hope I'm clear. Now,
Yeah.
another thing you could do is to use Ghotit word prediction. You could use it on any application. Every word has a meaning. Every word could be read out loud,
a past verb to be,
etc.
To have existence, take place.
Reading we see basically as a commodity. You could do it inside a document, but you could do another thing is to read it out, this text, to read the text in Ghotit.
The project is behind skill or communications.
In Ghotit reading assistance, where you do all highlighting and if you read it about word by word, very clear, very easy. So this was really very brief example of Ghotit for Windows. And now I'll move over to Ghotit for iPad. We have, by the way, a solution for iPad, we have a solution for Windows, we have a solution for Mac, and we have the latest solution that we developed is for Chromebook. And anybody that wants to get a free copy of any of those applications, just send me an email and we will send it over to you. Now I'll need to share my I need to share my iPod. So just a sec. So this is the Ghotit editor. It's a simple, very simple to use editor. I started out while using it with a word prediction. Sorry.
Hey. Great. But.
Sorry. What is unique about this, as you can see, I wrote it, unfortunately, really, really far from the correct spelling, and it still was able to pick it up. That is something that is really unique with the Ghotit word prediction.
Unfortunately.
Every word has the meaning.
Unfortunately is not having good chance.
Every word has the meaning. You could hear it out loud, etc. So this is the ability to pick up a word that is really, really far from the intended word. This is something that is really unique about Ghotit. Now I'll close the word prediction by pressing the button on top. It will close it up. So what I created, I wrote something up. Now the keyboard has two functionalities. The first functionality is the ability for spelling and writing, spelling and grammar checking. That's the second. I will change it to Ghotit keyboard. The only thing I need to do, put the cursor over here. And why did it change? And press the ABC button. As you can see, all the text was sent down to the text box where you have the ability to start correcting it. For my sorry. For my job, there's a tracing, supervising, not supervising people, simple for, off, helped, organized, is, hours, workload. So this is how you correct it with the word prediction, with the Ghotit spelling.
Please wait for a few seconds.
And the text was replaced. Now, as I said before, I always do once again a spelling in order to see if there are new additional corrections. And the word ears wasn't picked up. It has, it's about organized, etc. And everything is fine. This is the way.
Wait for a few seconds.
So this is the way that you use Ghotit keyboard. Now the keyboard has the same functionality as the word prediction.
It was a.
Double click it and it will change. Press it.
Day.
And you could hear the word.
Day.
And if you want to have the meaning, just press it longly and you'll get
period. To time.
And you'll get it read out.
The period of Earth's revolution on its axis. Those hours.
So this is the keyboard. The keyboard basically works with any application. That's basically our solutions for an iPad. And if I understand correctly, I already took additional 5 minutes.
That's perfectly fine. That's okay. So I was just saying while you were sort of getting your microphone sorted, I like the option or the fact that when you're in the app that you have that sort of standard traditional word prediction in the list because it's very similar to the Windows. So I think that's a really good feature. But then if you use the keyboard, then it just appears up on the keyboard as well. So they're good options to have, I think.
What we learned from different users that have a problem in vision issues or having a problem with using complicated editors usually use the editor. Other users are using the keyboard because the keyboard is really quite easy to use and it gives you a lot of functionality, and the quality of the spelling and grammar is much better than any other tools you could find.
Yeah, is it expensive for the Windows and the iPad version?
Okay. Okay. Now, if you're referring about pricing, there is the DSA pricing, which I remember correctly is 129 pounds, which includes the ability to use 2 systems, Windows or Mac, on 2 different computers, 4-year supports and upgrade, etc., and an additional keyboard for iPad. This is the DSA. If we are referring to regular users, not people that are using our DSA, the prices are quite low. If you're looking at, I'll present it over. If you could take me a second. A single license for Windows or Mac is the single license for Windows or Mac is $199 US dollars. A one-time payment. It's not with 1-year support. If you want to get it with 4-year support, you have to add another $129. And the site license is relatively cheap when you are referring it. For example, 100 users could start with $1,800 US and it goes up to $4,900. Depends on the configuration that you are looking for. So, and it's one-time payment. It's not a recurrent payment.
Okay, thank you. Are you open to take any questions if we invite people to post
Yeah,
some questions?
sure.
in
I
the chat
would love
pane?
to. Yeah, of course. I
So
would
if
love
you'd
to
like
answer any
to,
questions.
yeah, if you'd like to ask Ofer any questions about what you've seen so far, feel free just to pop them into the chat pane. Could I just ask a quick question? Is it possible to make sort of customized dictionaries for especially for the Windows version? You know, if you may be doing something on a specific
Okay.
subject, can you make a lexicon for that subject?
It's more than a lexicon. What you create is what we call topics. The topics, I'll give you I have two examples. The first example, if you have a teacher that are teaching in school, and let's say, for example, is teaching about dinosaurs. So first of all, we don't have all the names of all the dinosaurs in our dictionary. What you could do is basically take a text that includes the name of the dinosaurs and feed the system, and then the system will learn the name of the dinosaurs and in what context you put it. This is one example. And there is another example which is really very, very unique. It's a doctor in the United States that lost his ability to use one of his arms. And he's not dyslexic and not dysgraphic. The only problem he has is he's typing very, very slow. So what he did, and he continued to write medical reports. So what he did basically fed the system with a lot of information and a lot of text that involve his work, and then Ghotit word prediction knows how to figure out what he wants to write, and that's what he's using. That's our two examples.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thanks very much, Ofer, for presenting today. Really interesting software, and thanks to everyone for joining us as well. Okay, so thanks again, and we'll just close the session.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.